A few years ago, harvest time was the bottleneck in farm operations. Extra harvest help was a nightmare, but this nightmare no longer exists. Today, almost everyone is familiar with the all-crop harvester, the machine that changed the harvesting habits of the better half of the world. Everywhere, it stepped in quietly and efficiently to perform harvest jobs that previously required expensive special equipment and extra help. Today, one man using this machine can harvest and save almost any kind of grain or seed crop. Tens of thousands of satisfied users all over the globe attest the all-crop harvester's ability to handle a greater variety of crops, to reduce labor on regular harvests, to handle an infinite number of grasses, seed, and beans formerly harvested by costly, complicated methods. This ability and accomplishment didn't just happen. It was planned and built in various ways. Let's look at a few of these and get the inside story. Foremost in this story is air blast separation. This principle was used in the days of the flail and is still used in the cleaning shoes of all thrashers and combines. But in this machine, it starts working right behind the cylinder, where by far the greater part of the separation takes place. These diagrams show how this system works. The lines represent the thrashed grain and straw. They travel in a curved arc above and behind the cylinder, and then turn completely upside down before reaching the rack. Air blast from the cylinder winnows out and separates the heavier grain from the chaff and straw while in suspension, and much of the separating is done before it reaches the rack. This is how the air blast separation works. An all-crop with glass sides lets us study the whole job of thrashing and separating. Let's start with the rubber-faced bar cylinder and watch it process the heads slowed down by a slow-motion camera so that you can actually see what happens. The unthrashed grain comes in a thin, even stream over the entire cylinder width. The cylinder bars whip out the grains and send them up with the straw and chaff in a high arc. The extra weight of the seeds and the sharp blast of air winnows out the grains in a hurry. They reach the rack and fall through right now. Curved deflectors deliver this material toward the front end of the rack so it will be given the longest possible period of agitation. Then the straw rack shakes out the remaining kernels. It's a rough uphill road, and a kernel of grain or seed seldom stays in the straw. Once it falls through, what then? Well, the endless grain drag hauls the chaff and grain in two directions at once. Yes, it does. It hauls the grain from under the front end of the rack toward the rear and delivers it at the front end of the cleaning shoe. The grain falling through the rear part of the rack is hauled toward the front to be delivered also at the front end of the cleaning shoe. This allows for a grain-tight pan stepped in the middle to permit delivery of the grain and chaff. Also, it allows the grain drag to do its work in two directions. The sawtooth air blast control device provides a positive means to control the air on the cleaning shoe. Ribbons fastened on the chaffer lips in this shoe show just what the controls accomplish. With the sawtooth valves closed, the ribbons lie down flat. Open the lower arm and the ribbons rise at the front end of the shoe. Adjust them both and the ribbons float evenly over the entire sieve area. This is the way the controls should be worked out in the field. Open just enough to float off the chaff and straw, but not enough to blow any seeds over. Remember that field beans require a lot of wind, while Rhodes grass at 10 pounds per sack is an entirely different story. Now, let's utilize the slow-motion camera to watch air blast separation at work in the cleaning shoe. The sawtooth vanes are adjusted to admit just enough air to lift the chaff and lighter particles. The motion of the shoe keeps the grain and chaff moving. The adjustable chaffer and sieve sift out straw butts and coarse particles. Result, clean grain in the sack or bin. Another reason for the all-crops universal success is the use of variable speeds, particularly on the cylinder, to suit the different crops. The all-crop pioneered this feature. It is still years ahead with the new improved quick speed changer. By simply turning a crank, you can select at a moment's notice the correct cylinder speed for every grain, seed, or bean. The quick speed changer is quite simple. A movable flange on the cylinder drive pulley varies the effective driving diameter of the cylinder pulley. A tachometer, available as an extra on this machine, shows how quickly speed can be changed. It's almost instantaneous. Now let's look at the business end. The inner flange of the cylinder pulley is moved in or out on a thrust ball bearing. Moving it away from its mate decreases the size of the pulley and increases the cylinder speed. Moving it back increases the size and causes the speed of the cylinder to decrease. A new spring-loaded idler pulley takes care of the slack in the drive belt and provides correct tension at all speeds. But these features and superiorities aren't all. There are many others. One is the fact that these machines will handle such a wide variety of crops without special attachments or equipment. But where extraordinary conditions or crops call for special attachments, they are available at a low price. Clovers and small grasses, for example, require special finishing sieves. This may also be true of baby lima and garbanzo beans. These sieves are available at any dealer. The all-crop was designed and built primarily for power takeoff operation and is today the most successful power takeoff operated harvester or combine built and the most economical to operate. There are a few extreme cases where insufficient tractor power, overly wet ground, irrigated fields, hillside harvest, and so forth, require the use of an auxiliary motor. There is available a heavy-duty power unit complete with controls and fittings engineered to do the job. Grain bins with quick, easy unloading spouts are regular equipment in territories where grain... With this equipment, small seeds can be sacked in unloading. For territories that do not have bulk handling facilities, a bagging platform with a comfortable seat for the sack sower and a metal bag chute is regular equipment. A straw spreader is available where straw is to be plowed down or where it's to be used as a mulch on a grass or clover crop. Where straw saving is important, there's a windrow device operated from the driver's seat that throws two rows together, making it easy to pick up for baling or stacking. A new power takeoff operated rake makes short work of throwing two or more of these windrows into a large row for the new Roto Baler, also a one-man power takeoff operated machine. Then, the straw can be rolled into compact bales for storing or stacking and the field left clean. This is particularly necessary where a seed crop is sown with the grain. Another device that cleans up straw in a hurry is the field forage harvester. With this tool, straw can be chopped to any desired length and loaded into wagons. Chopped straw requires less storage space. For windrowed crops, two models of pickup devices are available. The rattle type for most conditions, or the draper type preferred in some bean and pea crops. For crops that mat in the windrow, there's the windrow spreader. This is simply a swinging finger which works on the windrow before it enters the cylinder and spreads it evenly over the entire cylinder width. The flax roller attachment feeds extra heavy flax crops evenly and helps to crush the bolls. It's also used to advantage in Dutch and Ladino clover and several other crops that require careful feeding. High lift headers are available for crops that are cut above the height of ordinary grain. On the extreme hills of the Northwest, complete hillside model all crops are rapidly finding a place not only in the wheat fields, but in the peas, beans, and grasses that are fast coming to the front in these areas. These are the inside mechanical reasons for the all crop's outstanding successes. Of course, there are many others. No detail is too small for improvement in this constant program of refinement. A corps of engineers follows this machine each year and studies its performance on the farm front, where greater production with less help is the order of the day. The all-crop harvester is increasing the power of the good right arm that formerly shocked, hauled, and pitched the sheaves into the threshers. With an outfit of this kind, one man easily accomplishes as much work as a whole harvest crew did only a few years ago. And the cost is just a fraction of that of any other method. Our post-war program calls for more foodstuffs to feed a hungry world, for greater diversification to maintain and build up the fertility of our soils. Machines like these are helping to make the American farmer the world's most efficient producer.